Single girls, I'm really out here doing the research for us. I found out exactly what men mean when they say they love the chase. I was recently out with a guy and he confirmed that men really do love a girl who makes them chase. And he told me specifics. So I'm obviously going to share with you. There are 3 ways to make a guy chase you while not discouraging him. Number 1, in your texting, be polite and friendly, but short. Only use texting to coordinate plans or a quick check-in, not all day texting in the beginning. You can initiate, but then be the first to end the conversation. And end it by just sending an emoji or something he can't really respond to. So it's not that you're not responding or taking a long time, it's just that your conversations are quick and short, leaving him wanting more.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
If there's one thing you can count on from modern women, it's their ability to assume that going out on multiple dates with multiple men somehow makes her an expert. Now, you would think that men would be able to give the best dating advice when it comes to men, but women don't want to believe that. It's always the incredibly vain and profoundly brainless single women who are the ones doling out the advice. Case in point, this cat lady in training has decided to make the one man who said things she agreed with as a representative for the entire population of men, but here's the thing. If you're giving short answers and not contributing to the communication, you're not playing hard to get. You're presenting disinterest, and if a self-respecting man so much as gets a minor notion that you're not interested in him, he's gonna cut things off immediately. After all, he's got better things to do with his time than have a one-sided conversation with a broad who's about one failure away from becoming barren.
Number 2, when you're on the date, play it cool. With your body language, kind of lean back in your seat with your arm back like this, instead of leaning forward with your elbows on the table and smiling and nodding at everything he says. Just sit back, make long eye contact, and play it cool. Ask a lot of questions about him instead of talking about yourself. That way he feels like he's shared so much about himself, but he still doesn't know that much about you and he's still wanting to learn more about you. And then when the waiter comes around and asks if you'd like another bottle of wine or another round of drinks, especially after the second round, say no. Like, oh, no, thank you. I don't need another drink, or we don't need another bottle of wine. I have an early morning tomorrow. I've got to get home. Cut the night short a little so it leaves him wanting more.
That does not make sense.
I'm of the personal belief that alcohol and dating really don't go together, but that's because I personally believe that alcohol is an incredibly toxic poison that's been weaponized against the public as a means of control. So I agree that you should probably stay away from alcohol in general, and not just when it comes to dating, but I digress. What I don't agree with is just endlessly asking questions about the man you're seeing, especially when you're using your body to treat it like an obligatory job interview. Leaning over and holding your hands and showing some legitimate interest makes a man want to get to know you and spend more time with you. But if you're quote-unquote playing it cool and you're just presenting yourself as an unlikable, unfeminine, and unfriendly person, and those are 3 things that self-respecting men cannot stand. But then again, if you're resorting to taking advice from hopelessly single chicks on TikTok, you're probably incapable of having a legitimate conversation anyway, so there really isn't much hope for you at all.
And number 3, when you're leaving the date, whether he's walked you home, driven you home, walked you to your car that he called for you, it's okay to kiss, but give him a good kiss and then say goodnight. A nice little kiss and leave him hanging. That leaves him standing or sitting there being like, wow, I want more of that. And as far as sleeping with him, you know how I feel. Make him wait as long as possible. The longer the better. Keep him chasing. Good luck.
Get serious. That never works.
So your plan is to show disinterest, contribute nothing intellectually, and making the man work for a minimum amount of physical intimacy, huh? Well, that's a one-way ticket to Ghostville. At this point, you're making it clear to this man that you're only interested in the things that he can provide you, thus proving to this man that you overestimate your value. Self-respecting men have neither the time nor the inclination to deal with such disrespectful behavior. You think you're being clever by trying to control everything, but that game is not gonna end the way you think. You're really out of your league because self-respecting men know when you're playing games. And you think you're playing 4D chess, but you're still trying to figure out how to play checkers and failing miserably in the process.
Pathetic.
Want to be the badass female that makes a ton of money, attracts all the men, have all the friends? Do this. First of all, stop playing in little girl energy, which means stop having people push over your boundaries, taking less than what you deserve, going beneath your standards, and being a fucking pushover.
You're amazing. You figured this all out already.
Am I the only one who's thinking she's pulling things out of thin air? Just look at those jump cuts. It looks like she's just randomly thinking up talking points as if she has no idea what she's talking about. It's almost as if she thought she had a good idea by trying to make quote-unquote little girl energy a thing, but had no idea how to back it up, so she's just going to regurgitate out the same talking points that insufferable, spoiled little women children have been telling each other for the last decade and a half. But these dames are so determined to create the next TikTok trend, no matter how stupid, because their lives are completely meaningless. They have no husband, they have no children, so they need to have some form of legacy to pass on, so internet notoriety is the best case scenario for them. Yes, the bar is set that low.
Queens know what they want. So that starts by you actually knowing what you want, setting your standards, making a list of everything that you want in your life, and starting to act that way.
I want a magenta horse. And I want to fly away with it into a reddish background. And I want pixies. I want pixies.
I hate to break it to you, sister, but acting like you know what you want and knowing what you want are two completely different things. Modern women have convinced themselves that they want material wealth and to live a life where they don't have to lift a finger to do anything because that's what movies and TV shows have told them to want. Which is weird when you consider that for thousands of years, women knew exactly what they wanted. They wanted the best possible mate to create offspring to keep their genetic code running for as long as humanly possible. And this system worked until women corrupted their minds with the idea that they're better than everyone else for reasons they can't even effectively articulate. So in a desperate attempt to try and define what they want, they just list off stuff they saw in Sex and the City, which no self-respecting man would ever offer, even if they could.
Don't wait for some man to come and save you. Because when you become that wealthy woman, you can be so fucking independent and still have a man take care of you. Which is what happened to me. Where are my wealthy females at? Let me know in the comments.
I'll believe that when my shit turns purple and smells like rainbow shopping.
Okay, that is just an outright falsehood, woman. You don't have a man like that. You may have a bang buddy, but there's no chance that a man who has more money than you is gonna put up with you for more than a couple of weeks. I mean, how could he? You're not nice, you swear, and you treat men like commodities, and men don't really like being treated that way. They'd rather find themselves a young, fertile woman who's gonna provide them with peace, warmth, and some stability, and I'm fairly certain you couldn't define those words if you were paid 50 bucks. Now I get it. You don't want people to know the truth. And that truth is when the people you call friends throw casual house parties, you're the one they conveniently forget to invite. And they'll try to convince you that the party wasn't that big of a deal and was kind of boring, but you know the truth. They were having fun with their real friends and you were left out because nobody wants to be around a woman
whose life must be an unendurable hellscape of excruciating sadness.
Here's your reminder that going out is literally not worth it. If you think you're missing out and you have FOMO and you're in your early 20s, like you're not missing out on, I would much rather be home right now sleeping.
Wow, that's fantastic work, man. You have the wisdom of a 6,000 or 7,000-year-old man. That's fantastic. We don't have to fill up the whole blackboard after all.
The fear of missing out is one of the most tragically hilarious rotten bill of goods ever sold to modern women. It's a philosophy wrapped with the gilded paper known as carpe diem that just targets a woman's emotional insecurities. And look how these chicks live their lives to the fullest. They're afraid that if they don't go out and dress like lower class streetwalkers, put on an unhealthy amount of makeup, and go to a club where they drink an obscene amount of alcohol, that they're somehow going to miss out on something important. As if they're gonna find the husband of their dreams at a club where the grinding is only outmatched by the number of unsanitary stains that line the bathroom walls. And yet, every single time, it takes them over a decade to realize that this low-effort, hedonistic lifestyle of heavy drinking and immediate gratification has somehow gotten them nowhere.
This is just so shocking. I mean, I must just be so monumentally naive.
You are.
For the guy that I friend zoned, we were friends for such a long time and I knew that he liked me. And I told myself, I was like, you know, it's fun hanging out with him. Like, let's see what happens, kind of give it a go. And we were friends for probably 4 or 5 years or something like that. And I think it was like the first year we were friends, he tried to like be with me essentially, and I was like, let's give it a go. So I was like, fine, why not? We went on a date one night. There were these like beautiful Christmas lights everywhere, and he never kissed me. Like, I was so annoyed. There was like this beautiful spot to kiss me, and I was like, inside I was like, does this guy like me? Like, I thought like the day before he was being all flirty and stuff, and then I'm like, what? And we slept in the same bed too at night, and I'm like, what is going on?
Whoa.
And here we have yet another example of how modern women knowingly use the friend zone for nefarious purposes. Here's a guy who clearly has feelings for this woman, and she does not feel the same way. And instead of being honest and allowing this man to move on with his life, she leads him on with emotional breadcrumbs for literally years. She even has the unmitigated gall to share a bed with him, fully clothed, I'm assuming, and that makes it so much worse. That kind of stuff can severely warp a man's mind, and it didn't even faze her in the slightest. She then tops it off by saying that he didn't kiss her at a fairy tale moment. Well, answer me this, sister. Let's say he did make that move. Would you reciprocate, or would you find yet another reason to lead him on? You clearly did not feel the same way, or else you would have kissed him. So what you did to this poor bastard was incredibly messed up.
And he never kissed me, so I was just like, whatever. At that moment in time onward, I never had that idea of liking him romantically, because he kind of like ruined that one moment, that one opportunity, and then I was like, that's it. I know that sounds really stupid, but in my head I was like, that was the one shot, and it almost felt like being rejected, even though I didn't verbally tell him like kiss me. It was just like, if you felt it, then you should have just done it, you know? And if you didn't feel it, then maybe it was just meant to be. So that was the one example, and we were friends for like 4 or 5 years, and I basically just told him like we shouldn't be friends anymore, because it's not fair to him, because he really likes me, and I didn't want to do that to him. So we are no longer even in contact. But obviously I wish him the best, but it's not fair to either of us.
You! I will think of you as I throw up into the toilet.
Oh, be honest, woman. You never cared about this guy one bit. If you did, you would have let him go 5 years ago, the second you knew you weren't attracted to him. But no, that would mean not having someone to be your emotional crutch. So you put this guy in a no-win situation where you have the balls to blame him for not being able to win. You pretended to give this guy one chance after 5 years of emotional manipulation. That makes no sense whatsoever. But what does make sense is once you realized he was no longer useful to you, then and only then did you cut ties with him. And how much you want to bet that if the situation was different and you were on a date with Chad, you would have given him an infinite number of chances to make a move? Well, the answer to that is easy money.
For the guy that I was really good friends with, and then started dating, this was actually all out of jealousy. So, and I'm gonna be so honest with you guys. So I was best friends with him. He liked me. I said, listen, no, we are best friends. Like, I don't want to do that. Then over the summertime, he goes and finds himself a girlfriend, comes back to school. This was like in college, and starts dating her. I got super jealous and annoyed, because I'm like, where did my best friend go? Like, this isn't cool. Like, I'm your girl, what? And so then I had to tell him, I'm like, listen, I caught feelings for you, but I don't want to break up your relationship. Turns out he was still in love with me and didn't even like the girl. It was just like a prop, and he ended up dumping her for me. And then we started dating, but then he turned into probably more of an avoidant, I would say, but he started pulling away, and he was just like, this is too easy now. He just like gave up on the relationship. So I had to break up with him.
Man, that's just mean. That's mean, man.
Nice try, woman. He wasn't the one that pulled away. What happened is once you completely destroyed this man's happiness and gave him a smidge of what he wanted, you quickly reverted things to the way they were. You started treating him less like a human being and more like your emotional baggage handler. You never felt anything for this guy. You just have the idea that if you can't keep him in your dungeon of lies, then nobody can have him. You view men as things for you to possess, not as living humans. Then that's why the friend zone is such a cruel and evil place, and men deserve to be treated with some kindness and dignity, not like an emotional punching bag. And I legitimately hope that this poor guy ended up finding some peace and some self-respect, because he truly does deserve better. And one day you're gonna post a video of you ugly crying for being alone and wondering where you went wrong in life, and if that guy gains his self-respect back, he's gonna be laughing his ass off, because despite your best efforts, he won. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, maybe leave a couple of comments, and share this video. Let's band together, give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Stay classy and stay badass, you beautiful bastards, and until next time, peace out, homies.